and I talk a lot of founders nowadays coming out. I sort of like joke, it's like, sort of founder therapy, but I always ask, how are you doing? How are you? And they'll, most founders will come in and they'll be like, oh, we're great, we're hitting our metrics and we got this. And I'm like, no. How are you? Are you sleeping? Are you sleeping? Have when was the last time you switched off? How are you eating? Like, the food, what, what's your protocol for winding down on an evening, right? Like,
did you build that in the second time round?
That's something you become a lot more conscious of. I think the second time is that you're in it. I think the first time you never quite know if you're going to make it to the next stage, right? You're going to make it to Series A, Series B, or so on. I think the second time you go through it, for me, it was like, well, if I don't do anything too dumb, like, we will have many years of running this company, right? It was 8 years I was running Primer. And it was Series A, Series B, Series C. You're going to raise a lot of money, raise hundreds of millions of dollars. You're going to raise, sell, but you're going to be in this game for many years. Yeah. Nothing is done in life without 5 years of hard work, right? Yeah. You don't get anything of substance. So you start planning for that, and I did. And I was like, all right, and I don't think I did necessarily as good a job as I could have looking back, but certainly better than the first company. And it's like, all right, we'll try and disconnect. Well, so I think the things for me was just like, well, I have to be able to kind of still run it. I'll be able to run like 6-minute miles, and I have to be able to, it's like, I have to be able to kind of still, do at any time 15 chin-ups, and I have to be able to,
so, more pressure to achieve more things.
Well, it was like, but I was like, would that sort of force me? And I was have to, still squat like, still be able to kind of rep out squats at 225 pounds for, I'm going to be able to do all that.